Now, a lot of y'all ain't gonna like this next tip, but you need to hear it. Kim Kardashian was right. Okay, wait, hear me out. There's a lot of talk about stepping into this era or stepping into that era, but can we please talk about stepping into your rich woman era? I want you to tune into this episode to learn how to go from struggling and surviving to unlocking a life of financial abundance that you truly deserve. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton Mariol, neuropsychologist, published author, and founder of Mod Ambition. I post every week about how to plan, manifest, and enjoy your dream life. So if you like that kind of thing, please tap that subscribe button or follow the Mod Ambition podcast. So by the end of this episode, not only will you know how I transformed my life and stepped into my own rich woman era, but I'm going to give you the exact steps to dive into this chapter in your own life and cultivate the rich woman energy needed to attract your financial abundance with ease. Some of you guys know that I am the manifesting psychologist, and I worked with many clients to help them manifest love, babies, and even financial success. And one of the things that I know for sure after working with so many women to manifest their dreams is that stepping into a new era of your life requires a manifestation mindset that thankfully I've gotten down to a science. So you certainly deserve a life of financial ease, and I'm excited to share with you how to open yourself to the abundance that God has for you. Before we get started, there are two disclaimers I just want to set forth at the beginning of this episode to make sure we're on the same page. The first disclaimer is that I got this title of the video idea from creators on YouTube. I didn't watch the videos, but I was doing some research and got the title idea, and I just want to give that credit to Alicia Juin, I think was her name, and Montel Breed. Secondly, I think it's important for you to decide and define what it means for yourself, what it means to step into a rich woman era. It could be helpful to firstly think about what does being a rich woman mean to you, and even possibly specifically defining how much a rich woman makes to you and how much is truly enough for you financially to feel comfortable and to feel happy that you're living your best life. Like you could provide for your loved ones, you could leave a legacy, you could contribute to the world to make it a better place. Because that's different for everyone. All right, that said, let's dive into these tactics that I know are going to help you. Firstly, I want you to tap into your inner Hillary Banks and claim your financial entitlement. Just like Hillary Banks, as you step into your wealthy woman era, you want to have the mindset of financial abundance is your birthright and leave scarcity thinking in the rearview mirror. The first thing you want to do when it comes to entering your rich woman era is to shift from scarcity thinking to an abundance mindset. And I know a lot of people talk about having an abundance mindset, but they don't usually tell you how to make that shift. They tell you not to think in scarcity or don't think in lack, but they fail really usually to tell you how to get from that place of survival mentality and thinking based on past experiences of not having enough to actually how to shift to an abundance mindset when you may not have had an example for that, or you may have experienced financial traumas in your past that make it hard for you to trust in your abundance. Don't worry, I got you. I'm going to tell you how to make that shift even if you have situations in your past that make it difficult to make that shift to abundance mindset. In fact, I'm going to share with you the exact formula I give to my students in my program Dream Life Academy when it comes to developing a faithful mind that breeds this abundance thinking. And in that module in my program, I teach my clients the ways to develop an abundance mindset. I do this by teaching them the first way, which involves things that you can do to develop this mindset, and the second way involves understanding the flow of abundance. So let's start with what you can do to develop an abundance mindset. Here are 3 exercises that you can do to cultivate what I like to call abundance now thinking. The first thing is to create a vision board and look at it every day. This is a visual technique that's going to help your brain start to wrap around having your abundance now, so your brain can actually feel what it feels like to have that abundance now when you're looking at those pictures and allowing yourself to feel those emotions as if you already have what it is that you're envisioning, and your brain doesn't really know the difference between those sensations, so it can start to cultivate that abundance thinking. The second exercise is to practice the law of attraction scripting exercise. I have lots of videos on my channel. I will link them down below, or you can just search my channel. Scripting, law of attraction scripting, but essentially it's a journaling technique where you wrap your brain around having your abundance now by journaling in the present tense as if you already have the life, in this case the rich woman era, that you want. The third way that you can do this is to utilize the Abraham Hicks visualization workshop method. It's not meditation, it's a visualization workshop where you're going to sit down and imagine yourself having and living the rich woman era that it is that you want. This is going to again allow your brain to wrap around the fact that you already have this so you can attract more of it, utilizing the law of attraction. So you're really doing things that are helping your brain feel that abundance now, and you'll start to think more in those ways and attract more of that abundance now. Like I said, all of these activities will help your brain wrap around your abundance now instead of thinking of it as a future event that's going to happen to you. In doing so, the more aligned you are with your abundance now, according to the law of attraction, the more you're going to attract of it. So now let's discuss understanding the flow of abundance so your brain can further wrap around this concept and easily lean into abundance thinking. So let's use the metaphor of going on a journey to a beach. In this metaphor, your journey is your journey to manifesting what you want, and the beach is getting to where you want to be, getting what you want. Now, I've explained in many other videos how the journey of manifesting works and how to enjoy that journey and how it's all about really enjoying the journey. So I won't go too much into the mechanics of manifesting in this video. So let's say you're going along this journey to your abundance, and the first thing I want to talk about that can stop the flow is getting stuck, or you can think about this as potholes. If you're on a car journey, you hit a pothole in our analogy of this road trip journey. And what this means in real life is that you get stuck with low vibration holding patterns. So think things like burnout, anxiety, or even things like depression. In turn, the solution to this problem, if this is stopping your flow of abundance and inhibiting your abundance mindset, is to vibrate high. And what I mean by vibrate high is just to really figure out how can you have the tools to be in a good mood and attract more abundance as a result. The second thing that can get in your way on this journey to attracting financial abundance, having an abundance mindset, is obstacles. So you can think about these things as roadblocks in our metaphor of this road trip to getting what we want, right? What this translates to in life are things like resistance or limiting beliefs. So the solution in this instance is to really do the work, the conscious work on uncovering those underlying beliefs and becoming more aligned with your positive beliefs so you can release that resistance. The third thing that can stop you from having an abundance mindset on your journey to manifesting financial abundance is what I like to call in our metaphor running on fumes. In real life, this translates to manically forcing or manically trying to manifest what you want by trying to control the journey and forcing things to work for you instead of letting things organically flow. Letting go and letting God, still doing your part of the journey, but not trying to control the whole thing and just trying to force everything, because that comes from a place of not trusting your higher power, which is exactly the opposite of what we want. And lastly, another thing that can stop the flow of abundance and stop you in your tracks when manifesting your rich woman era is being on the side of the road. What this means in real life is you're not taking aligned actions, or you're not taking actions at all. You're like paralyzed, sitting on the sideline. This may look like being constantly busy, but you're never really getting any closer to what you want because your actions are misattuned, unaligned, and not strategically moving you closer to what you want. And if you're not taking actions, that's pretty straightforward. You're kind of just sitting on the sidelines, just thinking about what you want to do, but you're not doing anything to actually get you there. Next up, in my windy voice,
the Nile is a river in Egypt.
So now that you are thinking in an abundance mindset and you've let go of scarcity thinking, it's time to stop being in financial denial and get crystal clear on your finances. If you're making the transition to stepping into your rich woman era, you better believe that this version of herself knows her finances in and out. She's not in denial about how much debt she has paid off or is in, and she's definitely has a great bird's eye view of her income, her revenue, investments, and savings. I certainly remember there have been times in my own life before I stepped into my own abundance era where I lived in denial about my finances, and this directly contributed to me being stuck in a cycle of a financial rut. I was so focused on surviving at that time and just making it to the next week or the next month, and I was really afraid afraid to look at my finances because I was always in fear of not having enough. And I didn't really want to face that reality. But the truth of the matter was that not looking at those things made me go further into debt because I wasn't aware of what I did and did not have. And I couldn't make smart decisions because I just wasn't clear on the larger picture of my finances. My financial life started to change for the better, not only when I started making more money and becoming more successful, but also when I was able to develop a consistent approach to always knowing where I'm at financially and overcoming the fear of looking at the numbers. So if you have a fear of looking at your finances, or you're not really sure of the full picture or where you stand financially, it's time to face that fear so that you can step into this new era with a full consciousness and awareness of what you like to improve upon. If you're finding this information helpful, please smash that like button and be sure to subscribe. It really helps me keep showing up to provide you with the best information on planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. This leads me to my third tip for you when it comes to entering into your rich woman era, which is to get good at money. What I mean by this is to educate yourself on personal finance so that you can be your own guru when it comes to increasing your income, saving, investing, and being financially free. I have a whole money magnet book list, which I will link in the description below, that you can get for free with all the books I recommend on personal finance, including books like Get Good with Money and The Money Game, which are two ones that I like to recommend a lot. Unfortunately, financial literacy isn't something that they teach us in school unless you went to school for economics or business school. And reading these books that I share with you, as well as things like podcasts and other forms of content, have really empowered me to be the rich woman I've always wanted to be. It's time to pull out that calculator, ma'am. Another thing that's going to help you step into your rich woman era is to develop a budget and a bookkeeping routine. Stay with me. So in my own personal life, me and my husband have our own weekly budgeting routine that we do in a weekly meeting with each other. And for my business, I have a bookkeeping routine as part of my CEO block days where I routinely take a look at my finances and balance the books. I'm going to be honest and tell you that this is not always an easy thing for me to do. Like many people, I hate accounting. But one of the things that has made it easier for me to stick to this routine is to stay connected to my why, which is to be abreast of my financial situation and to be able to make good business decisions. As well as I know that if I stay on top of it, it takes me about 15 minutes, whereas if I let it go and things pile up, it takes me much longer. Next up, in honor of Rihanna's recent Super Bowl performance, I want you to make your money work. And specifically, I want you to make your money work for you. Now, you'll learn more about this in your ventures to increase your financial literacy from tip number 3 above. But I think it's important to mention on its own that stepping into a rich woman era will require getting a full grasp on your preferred methods to save and invest. In this chapter of stepping into your wealthy woman energy, you become more and more accustomed to the fact that once you get things going when it comes to financial abundance, it really is a flow and things should be working for you, not necessarily you working for everything. Likewise, my 6th tip when it comes to leaning into your rich woman era is to develop multiple streams of income, honey. So this may include your savings and investing from the previous tips, but hopefully it also includes other methods of income generation that can support these efforts. So for instance, for me, outside of my savings and investments, I also am a neuropsychologist, a published author, and I have my own business, Mod Ambition, where we sell goal planners and stationery. My biggest tip when it comes to income outside of your savings and investments is to choose efforts that you're passionate about so that you can enjoy the work that you're going to do to generate this income. This leads me to my next tip. Now, a lot of y'all ain't gonna like this next tip, but you need to hear it. Kim Kardashian was right. Okay, wait, hear me out. Okay, I think she was 100% right when she said that you need to get off your ass and work. And I think that with kicking out the hustle culture, you can't dump the baby with the bathwater. Between Abraham Hicks audios professing money flows to us with ease and Beyonce singing about quitting our job and the countless soft life blogs on your timeline, we can start to feel like we must be doing something wrong if our income isn't passive or easy. But let me tell you something. Esther Hicks works a lot. Trust me, she's on cruises doing talks, she's writing books, she's sending emails, etc. Beyonce puts in work. Have you seen her documentaries? In And those soft life vlogs that are on your timeline, those editing alone is a lot of work. So while yes, money can flow to you effortlessly, it takes work to get that flow going. Let's use a river of abundance as a metaphor. While a river of abundance flows downstream effortlessly, there's a whole lot that happens to create that river. From evaporation to transpiration to condensation to precipitation to snow melt to runoff to the surface to create that downstream river. And this doesn't mean that you work without self-compassion or sustainability in mind. And in fact, if you love what you do and you get support, the work may not even feel laborious all the time, right? It may not feel like labor, but it's important to remember that at times it will, and that's okay. Success requires a lot of work, and at times it's hard, but certainly it's worth it. The secret is to make your work flow and to make it organic. And you can do this by using routines and systems, optimizing your time, accepting the season that you're in, and getting into a flow state when you're actually doing the work. And I like to point out that there's a difference between hard work and suffering. Suffering includes this sort of struggling and forcing. The Buddhist definition of suffering is pain plus non-acceptance. So if your work goes beyond hard work and it's falling into that realm of suffering, there's likely a lack of acceptance that something isn't right about the work that you're doing, and you haven't taken the actions to either move on to something that's better for you or to figure out how to get out of that situation. For instance, I'll give you guys a story that will perfectly illustrate the difference between the two. So in my previous business, Conscious Life Shop, I was definitely struggling and forcing, and as a result, I was suffering. There were so many instances in my journey with that business that the universe was trying to tell me to pivot and that it wasn't the right business for me. But instead of accepting that, I was trying to force it to work. And every time I would get over one obstacle in that business, another one would rear its ugly head. And nothing came easy about that business. The funding to get it started wasn't easy. The logistics were literally a nightmare, and people were ripping off my design left and right. It quickly turned from persevering and learning and growing to straight up suffering. It was beyond being just hard work. It wasn't an organic flow, and the universe was sending me signal after signal that the vibe just wasn't right. Fast forward to my new business, Mod Ambition. Yes, it requires hard work, and there have been bumps along the way, but there has been an energetic flow and an organic process to it, to this business that is so much different than my previous business. The funding to get the business started floated effortlessly. I found customers more easily. The content is more organic for my lifestyle. And even when I faced challenges like the Kickstarter last year, pivoting and moving on in the business has been very organic. So I'm here to tell you all of the truths that the girlies have been gatekeeping, the truth about soft life and this rich woman era. While it may not include suffering, it definitely includes work. If you like this episode, please subscribe or follow the Mod Ambition podcast. I've teed up a video I did on 10 habits to live life more intentionally and to live a life that you love for you to watch next. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. And until next time, namaste.